are starting to delineate now because they understand that this history has not been reciprocated, at least properly, especially you got dimwits coming out here that don't know history and they just think everybody's sweating them or something like that, and they take that as an occasion to try to diss people, and they don't even know their own freaking history. They don't know their genetic history, and they don't know their cultural history. But let me go to another point that I wanted to make, and that is with this whole idea about the DNA, right? And like I said, I'm going to show you some receipts because I made a statement that black genetics or African genetics are the gold standard, right? And you know how I get down over here. When I say it, I can prove it. Let me give you some examples of some of these people who are exotical. You know, since Exoticals United always wants to play up how valuable it is to be mixed, I'm going to show you instances where these people are taking DNA tests and they don't seem too thrilled to find out that they're not really African, or they're not as African as they thought they were, right? Meanwhile, when they find out they do have some African in them, they are literally having damn near a ticker tape parade. Black genetics is the gold standard. Contrary to the uh, dichotomy between the social economic situation, which is artificial, and we all know that because historically, uh, black people were associated with power and wealth until it was stolen. Essentially, they even trying to steal our actual history itself. Case in point, they were trying to claim that Mansa Musa was a white man. I had never heard that until recently. Somebody said that some goofy person was trying to make a video about that. But case in point, I got a short clip on Mansa Musa real quick to show you what black people were
Kingdom of
really
Mali from 1312 to 1337.
about. So this is what we're supposed to be associated with, but unfortunately, people with less integrity and honor than what we had culturally came in and kind of stolen it. But that's the reason why we have to do this work so that we can get back to our rightful place. But let's go.
Was one of history's wealthiest individuals. With an estimated net worth of $400 billion, his kingdom spanned West Africa, prospering from trade in salt, ivory, and gold. In 1324, during his pilgrimage to Mecca,
And this is West Africa, so you can't blame some Arabs. In fact, it was the Arabs when they found out how wealthy he was. That's what helped prompt some of those Arab invasions because he was so rich. He basically uh, crashed the the Egyptian economy because he was giving out so much gold. And again, that's one of the faults of the unambiguous black people. We've been so rich and wealthy and generous throughout history, and we just kind of wanted to share our wisdom and everything with everybody. And everybody else did not operate on the same code as we did, so therefore, a lot of these people, the word word travels fast, right? And that's up in Europe. They heard about it, and up in the Arabian Peninsula, and that's what later started a lot of those incursions into Africa when they realized how wealthy we were. But let's get a little bit more.
he traveled with an entourage of tens of thousands, each camel carrying 136 kilograms of gold. When he went to Cairo, he gave away so much gold to the people that the value of gold in Egypt decreased for the next 12 years. Mansa Musa
Damn.
also invested in education and architecture, bringing architects from the Middle East and Africa to build libraries,
But the black man ain't never built nothing, right?
universities, and schools in cities like Timbuktu and Gao. His huge wealth even made its way to Europe, where medieval maps depicted him on a throne holding a nugget of gold and golden staff, symbolizing his vast riches. For more mind-blowing history,
Yeah. So this is actual history. So this is the type of stuff that these bleach articles, because they're so bleached physically and mentally, they don't understand any of this stuff. But again, I'll be their digital daddy and help educate them. And that's the function of me over here, is to help deprogram some of the propaganda and foolery that the Joker is out there spreading. So that's what a person of my caliber needs to do to push back against these supervillains that are out here misleading people. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. But let's get a little bit more. We're not going to be too much longer, guys. But I did want to hit on this DNA point because I think it's very crucial to what I'm saying, and it's going to prove a lot of the points that I've made. Now, this particular woman right here, she's Ethiopian,
So today I'm
and watch her reaction when she finds out what her actual admixture is. Watch this. I'm gonna fast forward to it. Um, Watch this.
she is black because she's African that before. And when I asked my parents, I was like, I wonder where I'm from now, you know? Like I never really thought about it. I just thought since my family tree goes straight to Ethiopia, there's not really any question about what else I would be mixed with.
Okay, so they don't understand the actual history, and they just think because they are sitting on the continent of Africa that somehow they were just always there. It's really sad. But let's go.
So as I said before,
Let me fast forward to our results.
as I was asking my parents about their family tree, apparently there is a chance that I might have Italian mixed in me too, because Italy invaded Ethiopia.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier. So she at least went in thinking she may be somewhat mixed, but she was not prepared for the level of mixture she had. But I don't want to spoil it. Let's go.
Twice, once during the 1890s.
And I showed you the black men from America going over there to try to save them, right? So let's go.
I think it was 1895, and the second time was during 1935. And so my parents are both the second to youngest out of their family of 8 or 9 siblings, and so their parents were a lot older by the time they had them. So their parents were born in like the early 1900s. So I know for a fact that nobody in my family tree mixed with Italians in the 1930s because my grandparents were already alive by then. But
Okay, so let me just get to the results. Interesting history, but you know, we don't have a lot of time here. But this part right here is pretty interesting. Watch this. This is crazy.
our own independent country. My brother's MacBook right here, just so I can record the screen. And now I'm going to find out what my genetic history is made up of. I read in the pamphlet that most Africans won't have any Neanderthal in them.
Okay, so she said that most Africans won't have any Neanderthal in them, right? Yeah, that would mean unambiguous, unmixed Africans, not you. But because of her mentality and she thinks that she's just an African and she doesn't know her actual history of the legacy of the not just the Italian invaders, but the Arab invaders, and how she is not the same stock as an ancient Ethiopian or an ancient Kushite who did not have Neanderthal DNA because they were not admixed. She is admixed, so she's kind of shocked that she actually has some Neanderthal DNA. It's kind of sad. Let's go.
But apparently I have 0.6% Neanderthal.
So again, this is the type of shocking revelations that they come up with because of the lack of understanding about history and who they actually are. Let's go.
And the average is 2.1%. So that's interesting.
Watch this.
So I'm going to explore the results of this first because I want to figure out what that means. What?
Look at her face. She cannot believe her eyes that if you look at that map, it shows all up in Europe, all up in Saudi Arabia. She's thinking it's only going to be in the Ethiopia or in the Horn of Africa. Her genetics are all over the place, and she's shocked. Let's go. She's going to even ask, is it her? Let's go.
Is this me?
And it's that, look, I'm not making fun of her because of, you know, it's just the ignorance. And that's the reason why we do this work is because you got people that They just don't know certain things. And again, I'm not saying she's bad or anything for not knowing this, because her parents failed her, the culture failed her, and they were just teaching themselves that they're just Africans and wanting to equate themselves to the actual indigenous Africans. Meanwhile, her genetics goes all over the map essentially, and she's shocked and she can't even believe that it's her. Let's go.
I don't understand that.
So she don't even understand it.
I'm just gonna go back. Oh my god. Okay. I'm 56% East African.
So she thought she was either going to be 100% or at the very least a higher percent of East African, but she found out she's only 56% East African. Let's go.
That's crazy. Both my parents were born and raised in Ethiopia.
Yeah, just like somebody who's a Boer in South Africa whose parents actually came or grandparents came from the Netherlands. Yeah, their parents may have been born in South Africa, but their genetics is going to take them back up into Europe, just like hers takes hers back up into the Arabian Peninsula. But let's get some more.
My whole family tree, at least that I knew of, stems from Ethiopia. Yet I'm only 56% East African. What am I?
So again, this is what happens when people lie to each other with the one drop rule and all this other goofy stuff. That's the reason why we say the stuff that we say, because it leaves a bunch of confusion and ignorance, and then the mental illness from some self-hating people will put this on a pedestal. Meanwhile, they want to be more of what the unambiguous people are, and if you don't believe it, I'm going to prove it herself. She's gonna later on talk about how disappointed she was, and she thought, she couldn't believe that she was this much mix had this much admixture. But I'm gonna show you some examples of people's reactions. These exoticals when they found out or before they got their DNA test, how much they really wanted to be more African, which is kind of funny because it flies in the face of what you might think, right? Because you would think since we're as unambiguous black people, we're on the bottom and everybody's trying to get the hell away from us. But it's kind of funny how everybody wants to be us at the same time and try to take everything that we have, including our own history, right? Let me give you an example.
Over these ancestry results. I did this a few years ago. Recently, they updated my results, which
Now here's an exotical, right? Watch what this exotical has to say.
they do when they get more samples in. A little background knowledge about me. My mother was adopted. My father did not know his father. So that is something that already sparked my interest in checking out my ancestry. And I know there's so many different viewpoints on doing ancestry, guys. The government already got my DNA. I'm not worried about that. I've had immunizations, vaccinations. I'm
Watch this.
of where they say my ancestry spans. I can see stuff in a little bit in Europe, a little bit in America, but mostly we're looking at West Africa into South Africa area. Even though I'm a Black American, I do find a lot of pride in knowing that I come from the continent.
Okay, so this is an exotical, but she says she's found pride knowing that she came from the continent, right? But watch this.
So let's go into it a little bit more. So already what we're looking at, this
Well, watch this. Watch what she says about her admixture.
I did this maybe in 2017 or 2000 and Ghana and stuff because European stuff is completely linked to Indigenous America.
Okay, so she's showing more pride in the fact that she has the more West African lineage, but she's clearly an exotical. EU would be proud to have her phenotype without the bleach. This is her actual skin tone. But watch what she says.
Slave trade, it has very horrific ties.
She's talking about her European lineage because she did have some European lineage on her test. But watch this.
And stuff because European stuff is completely linked. Nigeria, East Central and stuff because European stuff is completely linked to the transatlantic slave trade. Indigenous Americas North 1%, and Sweden and Denmark 1%. I don't care about the European stuff because
She said she don't care about the European stuff. That's literally part of her lineage, right? So my question is, that's what makes her exotical, right? I mean, if not for that part, she would be an unambiguous black person. So based on what she's saying, this exotical would prefer to be an unambiguous black person because she's going to say that the European part is linked to the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, and she's just basically going to blot it out of her mind. But that is exactly part of her genetics. But it's kind of interesting that so many people like her who have this admixture, they always want to play up the black side while downplaying the European side and the other admixtures they may have. But meanwhile, I'm supposed to believe as an unambiguous black person that I need to look down at myself and look up to an exotical, like those goofy ass pictures that EU had. Meanwhile, the actual exoticals want to be more like me. I mean, who knew? But let's go.
the European stuff is completely linked to the transatlantic slave trade. It has very horrific ties to my lineage. I don't have any direct European ancestors like a grandparent. This is all coming primarily from the transatlantic slave trade, from slavery in North America. And that is just something that I am not proud of. I'm proud of my ancestors that were able to persevere through such horrific times and get me here, but I am not proud of that ancestry. I could care less about the Irish ancestry, about the Wales, the Scotland, the
Damn.
Sweden and Denmark. I could really give a hoot about that. I don't care about that. So you won't see me really dive into that at all.
Okay, so there you have it. So this is an exotical who is basically denouncing a whole part of her genetic lineage. And if you let her have a choice, she would want to be an unambiguous uh, black person. So there you go. But we're not done. We're not done. Here's some more. See, this is for the people who are not mentally ill. This is how people actually think.
Be more black. That's all. That's all I had wanted. I didn't want to be a part of colonization.
Wait a minute. What did she say? Hold on. Now, this is another exotical. So, Exoticals United, maybe they didn't get the memo that you've been trying to put out here. They didn't get the Joker post-it notes that you've been trying to post everywhere about how great it is to be an exotical. So, this is an exotical woman, right? But watch what she says when it came down to her DNA. Let's go.
I just wanted to be more black. That's all. That's all I had wanted.
So she don't want to be more exotical. She wants to be more black, meaning unambiguously black, meaning unmixed. So why would someone want to pedestalize being exotical when the actual people who are exotical deep down, when it comes to their actual DNA, no, forget all this social stuff when it comes to, these artificial privileges and all that, on a carnal, base psychological, physiological level, they understand that it's better to be unambiguous because they don't want to be associated with all of the negative legacy of what came about through their admixture. See, that's someone who's actually not mentally ill. They understand the reality of the situation and that they're not caught up in some artificial aggrandizement based on some BS privilege that is based on mental illness. That's the actual mentality of a lot of these people, and that's the reason why the one drop rule was so pervasive in the culture, because there were a lot of people who ran to it because they didn't want to even accept that they had any admixture. They would prefer to cosplay that they were just an unambiguous black person. But yeah, let's get a little bit more.
I didn't want to be a part of colonization.
When she's acting, this was an Afro Latina, and then there's more of that throughout this whole video. Most of them just wanted to see more black. But again, I thought the winning team was the Exoticals. Here's another example of someone who got their DNA test who's clearly an exotical, but she's ready to have a parade because she found out she had some black in her. Let's go. Some of you may recognize this chick. I think her name is Ava DuVernay. Um, let's go.
Can you read the percent?
Okay, now she's acting like that. Let me fast forward past this little intro. Because she's mixed and she was scared that she wasn't going to have. I think she still like got a large amount of white in her or something, but she wanted more black, and that's why you saw her do that little celebration. So my question is, if she's celebrating like this,
Can you read the percent? I'm black.
so you would think she won the lottery. So I mean, damn. I mean, if she's that happy for having 40% black or whatever the hell it is, if those of us who are 80, 90%, damn, we should be walking around looking like the Joker, with a big smile on our face. It shouldn't be the damn exotical smiling all the time. It should be us, man. We should be the ones celebrating. She's literally celebrating just by having a percentage of the black that some of us have in us. But, it's kind of funny how when it comes down to these tests, they're all happy to get to know that they have more black in them, but somehow you got people out here pretending like it's such a great thing to be an exotical. It's kind of weird.
I am black. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're blasted off to Sandra Man. Could you read those percentages?
57.3% African.
Okay, so she don't make our 80% rule, but hey, if she like it, it's whatever. That's cool. We still would consider her mixed. She's almost biracial with that percentage. But again, I just want to prove the point that you'll see over and over and over again these people when they find out that they have a certain percentage of African in them, it's like the gold standard. I don't see nobody doing that for no other race. For all the talk about black people, oh, unambiguous this, unambiguous, you at the bottom. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's an artificial construct. In the reality of the situation, with nature, melanin, history, culture, resources, the gold standard is being an unambiguous black person, and that's what these people are acting like. We got more. Oh, we got another Ethiopian situation. We got an Ethiopian couple, and the wife is actually going to be taunting the husband because she got more African in her than he does. Oh yeah. You didn't think we were going to go here and show actual examples of people celebrating about how much unambiguousness they have in them. EU, eat your heart out. Let's go. They're not celebrating being exotical, right? They're celebrating how much African they got in them. Let's go.
All right, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get it.
So this, I'm gonna. Don't look at the laptop.
All right, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
It's okay.
Now these are Ethiopians, and clearly you could look at them and tell that they're mixed. But watch this.
So I'm going
didn't say
to
anything.
talk about your haplogroups first. So Mama, her haplogroup is called R0A.
Well, let me fast forward because I want to get to the point where she's actually going to be comparing how much African they have. Let's go.
Good 9.
Maybe you're upside down.
Because he thought he was 100% African. That's what he said.
You wish. Your mama's ancestors, the example populations that they give are Saudi Arabs, Yemeni Jews.
So he's freaking Saudi Arabian, Yemeni Jews, but he's in Ethiopia thinking he's 100% African. This is crazy.
And Bedouins.
Yeah, like I said, I told you, right? It's
You
just-
said Yemen.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Yemen.
For your dad are
Let's go.
Algerians. You are.
Oh my God, what?
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting for you.
63.6%.
63?
63.6% East African.
I knew it.
Okay, so he's 64%. So again, he doesn't make our 80% 2x4 rule, but again, he was hoping that he was 100%. That's what this was about. I'm just trying to get to the point with this video, but when we saw it, we were like, okay, they were kind of having a competition about who was more African, but let's go.
Almost.
Almost what?
I was too close.
Half.
I did the 75, right?
Yeah.
East African, 63.
Mine was.
But even when they're saying East African, that's still part of the admixture. See, that's the thing. They're using the term East African as if that is the equivalent of being like a Bantu or something. Meanwhile, it's just mixed people, multiplying among themselves like the Habesha. So just because it says East African, that still does not equate to being, an unambiguous African. But let's go.
54%. Okay. You are less than 0.1% West African.
Oh my God.
You.
See, look how sad he got. She said he was less than 0.1% West African. He looked sad after that. And watch her. I think she has a little bit more West African than him, and she's going to be flexing on it. Let's go.
You have no West African in you. I had 6% West African, so I'm more West African than you. And then
So you see that little, let me play that back. Look at that. Look at that little dance she did to be West African. So those of us who were 80, 90% West African, what the hell we look like feeling bad when they are scraping and scrapping just to get a small percentage. She got 6% and she's doing a happy dance. Are you kidding me? Let's go.
I had 6% West African, so I'm more West African than you.
So she just rubbing it in his face. And look at his face. He's sad. He wanted to be more West African. She's like, oh, I got more than you. And she says flexing on him because that is the genetic gold mine. That is the genetic gold standard. But meanwhile, you got the Joker out here bleaching herself, trying to convince people that the exoticals are so sought after. This is stupid. I mean, the point is proven. I'm just rubbing it in at this point. But let me get another one. This one's kind of sad because this woman right here was shocked because she's actually kind of darker. Because I know we've been focusing on the ones that clearly look miscegenated. But watch this one. This one right here I found pretty interesting because she's actually darker complected. But
welcome back to my channel.
Her reaction is going to be priceless when she finds out that her maternal lineage actually does not go to West Africa, which is possible because I think maybe on her father's side it does, but her mitochondrial DNA goes up into Europe, but she's gonna break it down. But she's gonna break that down, but she's also gonna damn near have a breakdown when she finds out. But let's go.
Taken by men. So I took to you guys how many times I've been told this, and so
Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward to the reaction. Let's go.
The envelope is empty. I have this.
So look how happy she is. This is before, because she did this video in real time live. I mean, she had not seen it prior, so she was sharing with her audience at the same time that she would find out what particular tribe she was coming from in the West Africa. And so she made it a whole thing, and she was so happy to get the results, right? But watch this.
And this. So what do I do first? Welcome to the African ancestry family. Oh God, I'm literally like shaking right now. Oh gosh. Okay. So what does it say? Oh my gosh. I barely can read because I feel like I'm shaking. It is with great pleasure. Oh my God. I can't even read this right now. I can't believe I'm about to find out my results. It is.
Now remember, this anticipation and happiness is because she wanted to know specifically what West African tribes, because West African tribes are cool like that apparently, and everybody wants to have some West African in them without wanting to admit it, and everybody want to play like it's not like the coolest thing ever to be part West African. But meanwhile, when they get the DNA test, they're highly disappointed when they don't come back the way they want, as you're going to see shortly. Let's go.
With great pleasure that I report your matriclan analysis determined your oh my God, I literally cannot speak straight. Focus, Nia, focus. Let me start over. It is with great pleasure that I report our matriclan analysis determined your maternal lineage to be of European ancestry.
European ancestry.
Well, wait a minute. Ain't that a good thing? How come you don't want to be from Europe, right? How come the celebration stops when you find out that your maternal, and it's just her mother's side, right? Her maternal lineage, according to her DNA results, goes into Europe. And you can look at the look on her face, and that tells you everything you need to know. So my question is, why is she not happy that she's an exotical? Because she's a dark exotical at this point, right? She's clearly, got some black in her, but apparently not enough because, when she got these results, she got a long face. Meanwhile, she was hyperventilating with happiness at the prospect of learning her maternal lineage going back up into the queens of Africa. But meanwhile, she finds out that she's from, on the mother's side, from Europe. But let's go.
The mitochondrial DNA sequence that we determined from your sample belongs to a non-African lineage in the haplogroup H. Our analysis encompasses hypervariable regions 1, 2, and 3. Blah, da, 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 da. You have inherited these segments of DNA from your mother, and they have been passed.
She taking this like she got diagnosed with a disease, man. This is crazy. But again, why do you have someone like the Joker, aka Exoticals United, out here creating this false narrative that everybody just wants to be exotical, and these, and I even showed you examples of East Africans that are wanting to be more West African. I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here? Let's get a little bit more. But like I said, it's kind of sad because you can just see the hurt on her face. But yeah, maybe she just needs to take one for her father's side. Let's go.
On consistently from mother to daughter over the past 500 to 2,000 years, so they are unique to your maternal lineage. We analyze the variance within these regions to determine the parts of your DNA that you share with people within specific ethnic groups. Are they trying to tell me I'm white? I'm so confused. The HVR variants listed below indicate DNA sequence patterns that you share with European populations. The combination.
But the white people run everything, though, right? I mean, why don't you want to be white? I mean, isn't that the goal? Aren't people bleaching themselves to do this? Aren't people wearing wigs and all this to be white? But when it comes down to the actual DNA and the actual lineage, why does everybody want to be African? It's crazy. You would think they, on a deep level, they know something about the richness of being an actual unambiguous black person. And somehow, when they find out that they're not, their whole world comes crashing down. It's kind of interesting.
Of HVR variants determine your membership. The sequence similarity score represents our 100% confidence level in your result. Haplogroup H, sequence similarity score 100%. And then they have the nerve to say, we understand that this information may be difficult to absorb, you think? Especially if you were not aware of any European ancestry on your mother's maternal line. It is important to note that even though we did not...
She is a whole exotical, but somehow she's not proud of that. I think she would much rather prefer to be an unambiguous black person right about now. Let's go.
Find African ancestry for your maternal lineage. It does not mean that you are not African American. It does not mean that your mother is not African American, and it does not mean that you have no African ancestry anywhere in your family tree.
She just don't have as much as she would like, that's all.
Please feel free to contact one of the specialists in our office to discuss other lineages that you can test to find your African roots.
It reminds me of just like when Black Panther came out, you had all these exoticals that were angry that they were not depicted in the movie Black Panther, which, they did an actual pretty good job of depicting the cast as it would pertain to a civilization that had not been miscegenated or invaded, but psychologically they didn't want to accept that, and there were a lot of exoticals. I remember they were very upset and hurt that they did not see themselves being represented. In fact, I think it was a particular exotical, I forget her name, Sandberg or something. She's a mixed girl, and she was supposed to play one of the, I think, the sister to the main character, but they switched it and they got a more accurate depiction with the other girl that played it. And I just feel like that's the type of damage that's done psychologically with the one drop rule. And a lot of these exoticals, deep down and secretly, they are hoping that they can be more unambiguous. And when they get these DNA tests, it's a shock to the system when they realize just how miscegenated they are. And it's really sad. And of course, we can't control who we are, but we have to be realistic about that and stop playing these mental games and stop. Those of you who are listening to this, who may also listen to Exoticals United, you can understand the sane position over here versus the insane position that she has over there. But let's go.
Do you guys see this? It legitimately says, "You not African. You're European." I really feel some type of way. Like, I really thought I was about to learn something really new and interesting about myself, and I haven't.
Wow, that was cold right there. She said she thought she was going to find something new and interesting about herself, but she did not. So you don't find it interesting that you're an exotical, that you're actually, you look like a black person, but you actually have genetics that go back to Europe? That seems pretty interesting to me, but she said it wasn't even interesting. That's hard. But anyway, moving right along. But it's not just black people or people who may appear black that want to be more West African. It's actually non-blacks as well. Oh yeah, we're not done. We got a little bit more before we wrap up. I know I may have held you guys a little longer than what I anticipated, but I know you guys love this work. You love how we do over here. Once I get on my roll, you just gotta let me cook. Because we like it well done over here. But check this out. These are non-black people that want African in them as well. Oh yeah, we're showing it all tonight, or whenever you watch this. Check this out.
New York.
Now this was that show. I don't even watch this show, but this Ebro or whatever, this radio show 90 uh Hot 97 or whatever. And I never thought that Ebro dude was even black. I mean, I don't watch it, but every time I see him, I'm like, this dude is clearly grifting. But at any rate, they're getting their DNA results, and I want you to pay attention to certain things. Even him, they all wanted to be more black, and they were all competing, about who had the more black in them. It was really kind of interesting. But even the white boy on the crew, you could tell he was literally hurt and feeling left out that he does not have African roots. It's crazy. But I just want to show his reaction.
I'm like Scottish, Irish, and British. I'm just fronting like I'm a black dude.
Yo, with the internet,
I mean, that's what the internet.
Oh yeah, he said that too. But I just want to get to one particular part. The whole conversation is interesting, and he's an exotical, so he should be just proud of that. But even the white boy that's on the show, watch his reaction. He's going to say something particularly interesting that I want you to see. Let me get to it. And I think this woman right here, I think she's with 23andMe or whatever, that DNA outfit. I think she's always trying to be generous to people, even though she knows that some of these people aren't black. I think because what she does is go through the mitochondrial DNA, and some of these people on their mom's side, they may have some distant relative that was black. But it's weird because she never does the patrilineal side, which is passed down from father to son, the Y chromosome. But they always use the mother's side, trying to scrape together some traces of African DNA. But it's kind of weird, but that's a whole nother subject. But let me get to that particular point with this white guy, the one in the red sweater. He's going to say something pretty interesting.
So you share maternal genetic ancestry with the Yoruba people living in Nigeria today. Congratulations.
Now look at his face, right? He's going to say something that's going to be pretty interesting.
Thank
You got a little certificate?
I got a little certificate.
Yo, if anybody questions you, you got a certificate, kid.
I got a certificate, bro. I'm good.
And the next time you're in line in Africa and they tell you you're in the wrong line, you're in the wrong line.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be.
Y'all
in
heard
the
that story
Nigerian
before,
line.
Rosenberg? When he was in Kenya, the Kenyan official at the airport came up to him and yelled at him and told him he was in the wrong line.
Yeah, because it was like the tourist line, and it was the Kenyan line. And he tells me, you're on the wrong line. Like very, very forcefully. No, sir, you're in the wrong line. You need to be over here. And I'm like, but no, you're Kenyan. This is your line. I'm like, but my passport, American. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. You're in the right line.
I'm just so jealous of you because I've been dreaming of a certificate that I was black my whole life.
I don't think he's playing. You see this guy, because you can tell by the look on his face, but this is a guy that clearly probably has zero African in him, but he's actually hurt because he don't have African in him. It's kind of weird.
I think we should do you next.
All right, let's see. Maybe this is the moment
Yo,
of
you
truth.
blacker than me. Odds are you blacker than
No,
me.
I really don't think so, unfortunately.
Okay, so there you go. And I would let the rest of it play, but for the sake of time, because it's like the woman's going to feel bad for him, and she's going to be trying to piece together some, shoehorn some history in that maybe he might have some black in him. So it's really kind of interesting, but I'm making a point here because you have all this talk about exotic this, exotic that. Meanwhile, the genetic gold mine, apparently, this ain't me saying it. I already know who I am and what I am, and my esteem and everything reflects that. But it's funny, this weird dichotomy between the socio-economic condition of black people and how deep down psychologically so many people actually want to be black in spite of the conditions that we're in. So it's kind of weird. And this one's interesting too. We got another one. I got more, but I think this will be the last one that I show on this subject because I think the point has been abundantly proven. But this is on the quote real. Never watched this show, but I thought this clip was interesting.
Yes, Jeannie.
So you know that
Oh, goodness. Me?
Jeannie Mai, she wanted some black in her in more ways than one, and she had it with young Jeezy, which whatever issues they're going through. But I want you to see between her and this other Latina chick how they're reacting to the prospect of having something even adjacent to being black. I think Jeannie's gonna find out that she got some South Pacific in her somewhere, which could be, because the Pacific Islanders, or there's a lot of black people down there. But just watch her reaction, and then I want you to watch the other. I think the other girl's name is Adriana or something. But just watch this.
Okay, are you ready? Yes, I am.
And Tamara, who's half white, she's, most of the time they just depict themselves as black. They don't even really acknowledge the fact that they're even biracial, but that's a whole other thing. Meanwhile, what happened to the exotical pride, right? But let's go.
Your DNA results came back 87% Asian. 83% of that was Asia East, but you had 13% that was Pacific.
So she looks confused because she thought she was all Asian, but wait till she finds out that percentage is not Asian, it's Pacific Islander, which again, that speaks to a lot of the darker, more myelinated, if you know anything about like Fiji and Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, there's basically black people down there. But watch her reaction.
Pacific Islander, which is 13% Polynesian. Wow. Polynesian. If you look
And the original Polynesians are black as well.
No, I've never known that. Wait, there's a little PI in me, like
yes, there's a little PI
you
in
guys. I always wondered where there was like a weird little side of some swag that I'm not sure where it came from.
So again, they equate having these, even adjacency to being black with all of these cool attributes, because they can separate it when it comes down to a genetic level. It has nothing to do with the socio-economic condition of black people. It's just on a rich cultural talent, all these other things that they associate with being black. That's what they want a part of. So again, where's the appeal like this when people find out that they are exotical? That's all I want to know. Let's go.
Now you know. Yes, really? Wait, where would that come from? I know up to my great-grandfathers.
Okay, now let me get to the other Latina girl. Watch this.
Next.
All right, Adrian.
Oh, my palms are so sweaty right now. Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So your DNA results came back 28% Native American.
Whoa! That's cool.
I
did not expect that.
Okay, now she was surprised that she was Native American, right? Okay, interesting reaction. Her eyes kind of bugged out. But watch, she's going to give it a rundown as far as what she is. And ironically, whatever little percentage of black, she saved, I guess, the best for last. But watch her reaction when she finds out the black percentage. Small though it may be, watch this.
Not done yet, though.
How?
57% European. 57%.
So she's basically a European, but watch this. And you get basically no reaction. I mean, she looked kind of surprised, but because I think she just fancies herself as being a Latina or whatever. But Spain is in Europe. But let's go.
I'm white?
Wait. Let her finish. Wait. We still have other regions to get to. We still have other regions.
There's more percent.
There's more percent.
Keep going.
So there's 36% Iberian Peninsula. 36% Spanish thing.
Okay. We have from the same girl. We're European and
we all
okay. They say we look alike in some of our pictures. Yes.
7% Italian / Greek. Oh wait.
What?
7% Irish.
Oh, what?
Everything. 5%.
So she's giving her all these different rundowns, but she's just kind of surprised a little bit, right? But she doesn't seem too overly excited, right? But watch this.
Western European.
Wait, you're saying a lot of white stuff.
Yeah.
Look at it, even her, she's like, oh, there's a lot of white stuff. But again, why not the excitement? I mean, these are good civilizations. Greece and Italy, they got nice history and all that, right? But watch this. What's the jackpot? What's the gold standard? Let's see.
I'm so confused right now.
Wait, I'm not done yet because I got more for you. West Asia, you're 8% Middle East.
So pretty much the Latinos get around.
Okay, so look, she's just taking it all in stride. She gave, hey, Middle East, all these different cultures. She just, hey, Latinos get around, right? But watch this.
What is going on here? We are open arms.
Open arms.
What am I? Anything else?
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. You are 7% African.
You see it yourself, folks. There you have it. There you have it. Nothing else. She literally jumped out the chair when she found out she had 7% African. But yet and still, I'm supposed to believe, as an unambiguous black person, that I need to be going around, sweating and being thirsty for all these other people. Meanwhile, they are thirsty to be a portion of what I am. She didn't jump out her chair for nobody else. She found out she was 7% African, and goddamn it, you thought she won the lottery. Let's go.
For like the past week, she's been walking around like, I know I'm black, y'all.
Okay, so it ain't just happened here. She was anticipating for the past week. Come on, man. I mean, for you black people out there, if you don't understand by now how valuable you are and not to listen to goofy bras like the Joker talking about, I showed you evidence. Where's her evidence showing people jumping out their chairs, finding out they're exotical? Well, where's the evidence? The secret sauce, genetically, the gold standard is being African. Case closed. There you go, people.
I feel it. I got it in me. It's here. They were never going to tell me I was black. I knew it. Asian in you too. Yo, but
you like a buffet of a person.
Yeah, and what's her name? This heavy set chick would know a little something about buffets. But anyway, that proves my point. And we're going to wrap up on another note.